Hi there, Susan Bachelder here. Welcome to another episode of my series that is included under the umbrella of the main topic playlist. It starts within. In this video, I am going to talk about willpower. Willpower, something that all of us need, an exercise or a muscle that we all need to exercise, and yet it's not always that easy. So let's talk about it. If you watched the introduction to this series, you would have found out. And if not, I'm going to go through kind of the list of kind of topics and angles that I'm going to cover. And I'm referring to my video journal. We're going to touch on that, the strategy of using journals, how to, and why it's so powerful. So this one in specific is my planning video journal. So when thoughts come to mind, they end up in here, and then they end up being streamlined into an organized, planned process. And it works because that's how It Starts Within series came to be. So excuse the lighting. It's not as ideal as it should be. I do have one lava lamp in light. It's not quite bubbling right now. So just quick story on that. If you watch just the previous one to this, and if not, the link will be below. I'm in the process of moving from a house that I've raised my kids into adulthood. We've been here for 15 years, so it's a bit of a process. And the really cool thing, which I'm going to be sharing pieces of this over the next while, we've been here for 15 years. I bought the house when I was newly become a single mom, and it was quite a thing. Speaking of willpower, and this has everything to do with the topic in this video specifically, it took a lot of courage and willpower and perseverance, and just really focusing on feeding my own sustainable fulfillment. So I had the willpower to face each day to even purchase the house. But it's a beautiful, quaint, little older home that was built in 1924. And when I bought it, it was quite a mess. So there was a lot of renovations that needed to be done. And I did a lot of them with my own hands, with my own self. Anything that I didn't know how to do, I just researched and figured out, and purchased the products wholesale and figured out how to do it. And so this whole journey, and as we're packing the house and reflecting upon this piece of my journey, it does bring me back to reflecting on the willpower that brought me to purchasing the house, renovating the house, raising my kids as a single mom. And I worked 12-hour shifts as a critical care nurse initially, and then I shifted into the accident injury phase, the recovery phase, and then to the phase where I started online and building my online business and getting into this profession. And now here I am with you, and all of that took willpower. So yeah, it's interesting and important to exercise that muscle, and to be able to really exercise and tap into your own willpower. It starts within, of course, but mindset is a big part of it, and the energy and the kind of people that you surround yourself with. So it has a lot to do with all of the topics that are going to be covered here, but I'm just going to quickly review them. And then if you're not already subscribed to my channel, you'll know kind of what's coming and what already exists there. So I'm always going to be referring to, like, a baseline foundation topic is going to be wholehearted marketing strategies. So from the heart, authenticity, and how can you truly connect while you're marketing and offering your opportunity, business, or product. Humanizing digital marketing. So how can we access the digital expanse of the internet while still sharing our humanness and authenticity. And video on purpose, which has to do with both of them, ties kind of both of them together. And then, of course, it starts within sustainable fulfillment. How do you decide what fulfills you, and how do you sustain that? How do you keep on feeding that so that you can do what you need to do to get where you want to go? Pieces of the magic carpet. We'll get into that later. Storytelling. How do you tell your story? When do you tell your story? How important is it? Steps and strategies to telling your story, etc. Where does it fit in? How can you do it well? And then creating the experience. And if you're curious about that one, just make sure you keep on watching, because it's all about the experience. So, willpower. I am going to refer to something. So if I'm not looking right at you, I'm actually going to read a few things, because it's really important. These are put together really well, and these are really important pieces, components to express willpower that I definitely value. So just take a step back. A book that I have previously, I read it, the actual physical book, I've read it, and I've also listened. Just recently, I listened to the audiobook. And so I don't know if you're like me, but I get a different experience from both ways of reading, and I honestly do prefer holding the book and turning the pages. I make notes right on the pages or on paper beside, and I really contemplate. I look at the words and I think about them, and then as I read them, and I can hear my voice inside, etc. But there's something that is different about listening to an audiobook as well. Sometimes I'm moving about, like doing things, either laundry, like some activity that you don't have to put a lot of thought into, but you get to have that positive influence of something that's just feeding your thoughts, and you're not really, totally focusing on every word, but it's definitely feeding you some good things. So I get different things out of both ways, and I utilize both of them just because I'm honestly always trying to feed my mindset, my energy. And one of those things is this willpower. It needs a lot of feeding. It's not just an endless supply. It needs to be fed. So anyway, I had just listened to it, and then Peter did a deep dive book study in UCOR of The Obstacle is the Way, and the section on willpower he dug into. And there was something different about hearing somebody else really give some realization and storytelling to such a powerful topic and such a great book, and it takes you to a different space. So this just kind of highlights the value of a mentor, and it's not to be taken lightly. So I thought that on this topic, instead of me just going on, and literally the only reason I am right here where I am today, having done a lot of healing, being able to single parent my children from young children into adulthood, and accept the loss of my critical care nursing career, accept my changing body and self-image from injury and lifelong disability that comes with the diagnosis of MS, and yet not letting that define me, but moving through it and working towards self-healing. It takes a lot of willpower through all of that let alone to start from scratch, not knowing anything about online and build my business. It honestly did take a lot of willpower. And then because I'm honestly an introvert, I often don't tell those pieces of my story, or really much of my story altogether. And so um, willpower is it's just a really big part of it. And that is one of the reasons for this series. I digress again. It starts within. I have honestly been planning this series for 3 years, and my intention is to share as much value with each of you as possible. But I kept on holding back because, I need to do this and this needs to be done. And I really always do have to sort out my energy and just be very choosy. And yet I really don't like talking about myself. I would rather help other people talk about themselves or do the background quiet work. But to really demonstrate what I've tapped into, which a big part of it took willpower, is how I can help you the most. I do realize that. So this video and this piece is really important to me to share with you. So I thought, since Peter is such a valuable and precious mentor that I very much am honored to be a part of, I would share the concepts that he put together. So here's the top 10 willpower building exercises that absolutely work. And as I read through them right after he posted them, I use every one of them. And the reminder is really good to help me remember, okay, keep doing it. Keep doing it. You have to do it more often. Willpower has been the subject of many research studies. These studies show that willpower can be developed with proper exercise. And yes, it is true. I sometimes call him my personal Yoda, and you'll hear him brought up a number of times. But Dr. Yancey Orchard, he taught me quiet sitting meditation. He taught me Qigong. He was my voodoo chiropractor. So he's a chiropractor that has done many extensive muscle and nerve studies. He is martial arts in mastery in, I believe it's 5 different martial arts. And so he coaches and teaches them, etc. So he has all of this expertise, and he's the one that taught me my Qigong and a lot of this. So he's the one that gave me a lot of my exercises to exercise my willpower to get from literally house and bedridden to just pushing through every day. Even the days I really didn't even feel like opening my eyes, let alone getting up, which brought me here because it kept me working. So these studies show that willpower can be developed with proper exercise. Building willpower takes time, but willpower gives you the ability to direct your life, resist unproductive urges, and take appropriate action. Honestly, willpower was a key, one really big key to get me to where I am, as what I promised, what has to share with you, what has gotten me to where I am, and what will continue to get me to where I want to go. Develop your willpower with these proven techniques. Learn to manage stress more effectively. When willpower is called into play, there are 2 opposing forces: the desire to either do something or to avoid something, and the option of doing something. The greater the stress caused by this internal conflict, the more willpower you need to take the more appropriate action. Stress depletes willpower. Hear ye, I'm sure you can relate to that. I know I definitely can. Stress can also cause you to choose the option with the greater short term rewards, regardless of the long term consequences. This means eating that donut or sitting on the couch instead of filing your taxes or whatever that thing is. Stress depletes. Oh, sorry. By learning to lower your stress levels, you increase both the amount of willpower available to you and the effectiveness of that willpower. Yes. Exercise. Those that exercise experience less stress. Less stress means more willpower. And there's physiological reason for that because exercise releases endorphins that actually decrease stress and increase the good feelings. So that's absolutely true. Diet, a healthy diet has also been shown to enhance willpower. And again, that's a chemical physiological reason. Make your own deadlines. Pledge to clean out the garbage by Saturday afternoon, or decide that you'll complete your taxes by whatever the date is. Studies have shown this to be an effective way to build willpower. So if you make and commit and then follow through with dates and deadlines and decisions, then that boosts your confidence, your self-confidence, and then it increases your willpower to keep on doing it because it's making you succeed and do good things. Create positive, good habits one by one. So don't try to overwhelm yourself with live an absolutely perfect life, but small positive habits. For example, do 1 push-up after brushing your teeth, or 10, or whatever your goal is. Make your bed every single day and commit to fixating that habit before you add something else or a bunch of major things. You don't need much willpower to do those small things and create a habit that just follows through, and then you just build on what you've accomplished. Habits don't build willpower, but they circumvent the need for it, the process of creating the habit. Boost your mood. Whatever it is, watch a funny movie, think about something that makes you happy, do things that make you happy. You'll have more willpower at your disposal to do the things that you need to do. Get more sleep. Number 7, don't forget that. Get more sleep. Too little sleep impacts the part of your brain responsible for decision making, handling stress, etc. Strive to get at least 7 hours of sleep each night, and you'll have more willpower to do whatever it is you're doing the next day. Meditate. Yes, yes. Meditation has been a huge part of many things, especially willpower. It's popular, it's trendy these days, but if you think about really the overall thing, don't do it for the trend, but think about, and there's going to be specific videos that I'm going to create on meditation. I have actually taught quiet sitting meditation in some of the past videos. So if you don't want to wait till I get to that piece, even if you practice meditation for a few minutes every day for a few short months, you're going to notice a significant change in your ability to have clear thoughts, to control your thoughts, and to control your behavior. Number 9, practice. Your reserve of willpower may be limited, but you can learn to maximize what you do have, and it'll increase as you go. Forcing yourself to continue when you feel like stopping is one of the easiest ways to build your willpower muscle. So let's say you start with that 1 push-up and you're aiming for 10, and you just push yourself to do that 1 more each time, and then it kind of builds on it and strengthens on that willpower from within. Imagine that you want to stop, say, cleaning the house, or stop writing a report that you're writing, or writing a piece of content that you're writing, or the push-up example. And instead of allowing yourself to quit, you force yourself to continue for like a piece more, or a few minutes more. And then all of a sudden that becomes easier, and you just keep on pushing yourself to the next step. And number 10, last but not least, pay attention to your posture. In one very interesting study, it was shown that paying attention to your posture for 2 weeks enhanced scores on several WillPower tests. What could be more simple? Whenever you catch yourself slouching or just having incorrect or lazy posture, you correct yourself, whether you stand up or sit up or be straight, or just be focused on that posture. What would it do for your focus? And that's a really cool thing that we'll get into with the quiet sitting meditation and Qigong. That's one of the initial strategies and concepts and practices that you learn within it, is you focus on your posture. And there's something really internal that happens when you focus on your core, how you hold yourself, how you breathe, and it relays out to everything else that you do, that it's always in your mindset to do better and improve. If you start with yourself and how you breathe and how you hold yourself. So posture is really interesting that was pointed out here in number 10. So as I'm closing and pulling Peter's words into this, remember that willpower is never in abundance, but you can build your reserves. So it's just like your arm muscle or your leg muscle or any other muscle. If you don't use it, it doesn't increase in strength, but it's something that you can build on it. You can actually exponentially increase its strength. And the key is to use your willpower wisely, on purpose, and intentionally. Tackle your most important tasks early, whether it's in the day or at a certain point where you know that you're feeling into it, you're feeling positive, and your willpower is at its highest, and that increases your confidence in doing the next thing. And just try spending a small amount of time on a regular basis by increasing your willpower to focus on the really important things, whatever you're really striving at accomplishing, whatever your big purpose is, a specific goal that you want to accomplish. And you will absolutely increase your belief and your trust in yourself that you can do it again, and then just keep on repeating it. Remember to acknowledge what you've accomplished. Definitely. And a part of the personal benefit to me, other than really just being passionate about sharing these pieces with each one of you and collecting people that are truly interested in learning and sharing this journey as I share these pieces with you. But it's taking extra time to reflect and chunk down on the specific pieces of this, that it increases my own realization of willpower, confidence, achievement, and a lot of the topics I'm going to be talking about: self-healing, reprogramming your neural pathways. And it will help me get to where I'm going from this point as well. So on that note, your feedback is extremely important to me. Do you have questions? Have you enjoyed what I've shared in this video alone, specifically on willpower, and on the whole series of It Starts Within, whatever the topic is? I definitely want to hear from you. It will help guide me to the future pieces and how I'm doing them. As right now, as I'm kind of spending a lot of time amongst chaos with the shift and the moving, I will be recording just as this in my little office space. But as I move forward and get into the shift in the new space and the condo, a lot will be out and about and more on location. So we'll be adventurous, etc. So do make sure that you let me know if there's a way or a method that I'm sharing that is more beneficial. And also that you've subscribed to my channel so that you can indeed follow up with what's coming. I look forward to all of this journey with you. And I'll see you in the next video.